My name's Vance. I'm 23. My strange addiction is business courses and coaching. I've spent over $40,000 on SMMA coaching and consulting and courses and everything like this. So this begs the question, was it even worth it? So let's walk through the different investments that I made, followed by price points if I found them to be worth it, and the results that I got from them. Starting off with number one, back in 2020 when I first started my marketing agency, I spent about $1,000 on a course that was really meant to be like kind of a done for you agency in a way, because I was like too afraid to make my calls myself and whatever. It was basically just like a sales course, and they promised to give you this closer that you could rent, and they didn't deliver on that promise at all. So I basically got screwed. The sales tactics were like everything you'd find on YouTube anyway, so it was kind of just useless altogether. Now, I complained and they gave somebody to help me, learn how to do calls and stuff like that. Pretty bad experience, waste of money, thumbs down, zero results. Now, off I went on my own to learn how to do all this stuff myself. Horrible taste in my mouth, was very, very, very dissatisfied after that experience. And basically from there, spent the next, year and a half trying to do this stuff on my own. Took me a really long time, got up to like 4 or 5K a month just on my own. And then from there, I was like, okay, well, my confidence is really low. I have a lot of mindset issues. So I was thinking like, I actually saw a YouTube ad of this guy who was pretty much saying that, he used to be at 5K per month in his business, and he didn't really change anything about what he was doing. He just changed, what was in his head pretty much. And, that helped him explode his business, blah, blah, blah. So I was immediately hooked because self-awareness is really important. Side note, in business in general, you have to be very self-aware. You have to know, your strengths, your weaknesses, deficits, whatever it is. So I was aware of this. I knew that mindset was a bottleneck for me. And so this just caught my attention really well. I hopped on a call, was extremely skeptical. It was a 2-call close. I ended up signing up. This one cost me $6,200. Now this is where things started to get a little more spicy. One thing I learned is that if you're going to spend a very, very little amount of money, you're going to get a very little amount of information in exchange. And in any type of, online business coaching course program thing, you're not getting real crazy good value or information until you're spending at least about $4,000 on a program. This program was a course combined with 2 weekly group coaching calls where you'd be able to step in, talk to the guy who ran the program. He was doing at the time 120K a month kind of thing in his business. And you can go and ask him a question. You have a 10-minute timer twice a week where you can go in, ask questions, get feedback, this kind of thing. This actually changed a lot for me. The beautiful thing is that I was pessimistic at the time I was 22. I was pessimistic for 22 years of my life. And within no word of a lie, the first 2 weeks of doing this program, I learned that you could become an optimist, and B, became an optimist, literally in about 2 weeks. There was one of the cons about this is that there was a lot of work involved. I'm very intense about any course program thing that I sign up for. My goal is to be in the top 1% of students and results and that kind of thing. So I worked very, very, very diligently on this. I was spending an hour and a half a day on it. It was like I was really, really involved, but it allowed me to completely just become an optimist in a very short period of time. And then, with sticking to it for a long enough period, I think it was like 6 months, 4 to 5 months actually, that I stuck to it every single day doing this 5 days a week. That really ingrained a lot of it in me. So I became, I learned that I could set bigger goals for myself and actually achieve them. There was a lot of really good things that came out of that. And so I invested in that in October of whatever the year was. Then by February, I hit my first month over 10K where I did about $14,000 in revenue. So that was really cool. Had a good experience in there. One of the downsides of the program as well is that it's just a mindset program. There's no business information, tactics, strategies, nothing business related within the program. It's all strictly mindset. So that's unfortunately only really one pillar of everything that we do, but got some good results out of it. Helped me grow a lot as a person. And I still use a lot of what I learned there today. From there, in March, so right after that February, I went and bought into this more general business coaching consulting program. Again, there's a course, 8-week course, tons of hours of content. I still haven't even watched it all to date. 2 group coaching calls a week, again with a 10-minute timer kind of thing. So this program was about $7,500 that I paid. And some of the pros for this program were that I was working with the right-hand man of one of the top people in the industry. that was really cool. You get to ask some, really serious people some really serious questions and get some insane feedback that just, this is what I was really looking for at the time. Of course, I knew I needed mindset first, but then this allowed me to just learn a lot about business that I hadn't already known, because a lot of it I was just watching YouTube videos and there's nothing too outstanding about the information that I learned, and it took a long time of watching YouTube videos just to get the same amount of information. And there's a lot of information in these programs that is very exclusive. A lot of people say, oh, you buy a course, it's all online. It's like, yes and no, because if it's all online, you have to go and listen to 16 different people and discern who, like, people have contrasting opinions. And when you join one of these programs, you realize that the community within the program is the guys who you're looking at on YouTube. So like a ton of people in this community are doing 100K, 200K, 300K a month. So you can see what other people's opinions are, but then there's ultimately like the top guy, so to say, who runs the program. That's where all the course content comes from. And he's more experienced than any of these people. So he has the upper hand in saying what is what and what is right. So I think it just helps so much for decision making and discernment when you can talk to the guy at the top, so to say, and look through all the recordings and like Q&A call recordings and everything like that. Overall, very good experience. This allowed me to get up to about 25-30K per month in my business. I joined that in March. June, I did $26,000 or $24,000 or something like that in revenue. One of the downsides from this program is that it was old. So the group coaching died out in the summer, July, August, I think. The group coaching died out. On top of that, it was teaching some pretty old methods in general. I think the program is about 4 to 5 years old. So there was some more new stuff in there than that, but everybody was starting to move on to YouTube ads. So I called it quit with that program. And then what I did next was, through the mindset program that I was in, I met a guy who was doing, at the time, about $350,000 to $400,000 a month in his coaching business. And he was offering one-to-ones. So this came out to be $5,000 a month for 4 calls per month, 1 call per week, as well as support on WhatsApp. You can DM the person, ask them any questions you have, voice memos, this kind of thing, and he'll just directly, personally answer all the questions and basically be your mentor for money. People don't really mentor people for free from what I've seen, unless it's like a friend or something like that. So you do have to pay to get access to these people in pretty much any scenario that I've personally experienced. So I stuck with this guy for 6 months. So that was about 30 grand out of pocket for one-on-one coaching sessions. And so I started with him in September, where August I did 25K again. November was like 40K. December was like 77K. That was a period between November and December. December was like 70K. And things really started to pick up very quickly. Like February, it's March now, February was like 75K. So things really started to pick up, and I actually stopped working with this person at the beginning of March, something like that. At the time you're recording this, it's what, the 28th? Yeah, it's the 28th at the time you're recording this. So I stopped working with this person for close to about a month now. Pros, you get to talk to somebody who's walking the walk. And just in the time of me working with this guy, he went from about 350, 400K a month. Actually, it was British pounds, up to about 550,000 British pounds a month in revenue in his business. Pretty cool stuff. He lives in the same building as like Iman Gadji, for example, so he knows him, knows a lot of people, top people in the space. Really cool, connected guy. Learned a ton from him, upgraded my mindset, helped me learn how to think, how to make decisions. And one of the biggest things I learned from that is that my intuition is actually really strong. And a lot of the times I would find myself going to him and saying, hey, I was thinking this, what are your thoughts? And he goes, yep. So that helped me learn a lot and helped me build confidence in my own decision making a lot. One of the cons of this is obviously the price point, which is very high. You have to be, in a position where you're comfortable taking a risk like that to move forward. At the time it was like 25% of my cash collected and my expenses weren't too high and that kind of thing. So it wasn't too bad, but still a con regardless. Again, high price point. Yeah, so that's my story. I've had overall a phenomenal experience with coaching, and I intend on doing a lot more of it.